So I'm just going to move around a little bit. So, hi guys. Hi again. As in, you're from eating. The energy needs to be up. Hi. Are you guys okay? Today is the last day, so you have to have energy up, right? Have you guys enjoyed so far? Okay. Should I ask a few random questions? What has been your favorite session? Anybody? What has been your takeaway? What has been your key takeaway? Pardon? Who can take it? Yeah? Hakuna? Guys, unajua mimi ni mtu wa Mombasa. Sasa we have to keep talking so that people get happy and excited. So hakuna mtu? Nobody? Nobody take us? So you just came. Why did you come? Yeah? Nobody? I can just see smiles, by the way. It's just smiles everywhere. So I think mko sawa. All right. So again, my name is Elaine Nasieku. I work at Semabox. I am a producer. And this is my session. And I have a beautiful team with me. I have Mfundo from South Africa. I have Rashid Hand from Mombasa. I have Balkis Yasin from Mombasa. And I have Charlene Maraga. She is also from Mombasa. So we are representing Mombasa and as a whole, Kenya and South Africa. So the first session is going to be by Mfundo Mbaze. He is from Anzisha Academy. How many of you have heard about Anzisha? African Leadership Academy? You've heard about it? Okay. So Mfundo is a storyteller. He's a visual creator. I met him randomly while he was creating content. I was invited to Anzisha's community hangout in Kenya, and that's how we bumped into each other. And from there, I think we are now sharing a stage. I think that's what meeting people is all about. The purpose of networking is to see what you guys can create together. So this is a testimony of the intentionality in networking and building community. So I hope you enjoy our session. Mfundo is going to go first, and he's going to tell us the story of Anzisha and how they are creating a narrative around the youth. I think young people between the age of 18 and 22. He's going to take us through their entire beautiful journey. So I hope you guys enjoy. And now, Mfundo, if you are ready, please grace the stage. Can I get a round of applause, guys, for this guy? He came all the way from SA. Okay. So Mfundo is going to take the session, and all the best.
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, beautiful people. How are you guys doing? Good. So, I'm going to start with a quick poll. I just want to know, how many entrepreneurs do we have in the room? Please just raise your hands for me. Okay, 1, 2. Please keep them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, cool. My second question is, how many of you began your entrepreneurial journey before the age of 22? Just out of curiosity. 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Okay, cool. Thank you for indulging me. So I'm going to come back to this poll at the end of my session. All right, so the theme for this year is liberating voices and perspectives often left out of mainstream media. I hope that by the end of my session, I will have convinced you to try and think younger. A brief introduction. So my name is Mfundo, and I am a senior content associate at Anzisha. I am from South Africa. And my primary focus is to shift the lens from PR related content to orientated storytelling. Okay, so what is Nzisha? So Nzisha is a movement. It is a movement that supports young African entrepreneurs to build and scale businesses. Wow, sorry. So Nzisha is a movement that supports young entrepreneurs to build and scale businesses. We do this through education, resources, and most importantly for this room, storytelling. Storytelling is not just a marketing tool for us. It is an integral part of who we are and what we do. So to date, we have supported over 298 entrepreneurs who have created over 8,000 jobs. They have generated revenue of over $36 million and have received grants and investments worth over $21 million. So these numbers are great, but they don't tell a story, right? How do we humanize these numbers, okay? So in our pursuit of trying to humanize these numbers, we came across two problems, okay? The first one is that entrepreneurship has got a storytelling problem. So mainstream media has a template for what the African entrepreneur looks like. They start from humble beginnings and it ends with a tech-funded climax. And I get it. It's easy. It's easy to tell. It's easy to script. It's easy to film. And it's easy to promote. But this is not the reality of a 17-year-old founder. Unfortunately, they are juggling school. They are juggling parents that do not understand. And they're also facing deep policy problems. So I'll give you an example. One of the entrepreneurs that we support tried to go get a bank loan for his business, and he was denied because he is too young and he doesn't have a credit record. The second problem that we identified is that entrepreneurship on the continent has got a branding problem, right? Entrepreneurship has become synonymous with the 1%, the Billionaire Boys Club, Mutsipe, Strife. While these are great men, unfortunately, we have sidelined the young entrepreneur. What we have done is we have branded the result and excluded the process. Sorry. So our solution to these two problems that we identified is a docu-series that's been airing for 4 years now. It started in, I think, 2022, I think it started in 2022. And the aim of this docu-series was to bridge these gaps that we had seen. Instead of waiting for these young entrepreneurs to become household names in 20 years, we wanted to document their stories now in real time. So here is a trailer of what that looks like.
Across a continent brimming with potential, a new generation is rising. They're not waiting for their moment, they're building it.
You cannot stop an idea whose time has come.
I wasn't expecting this young crop of people to be doing that.
Forget the headlines.
This industry is not for young people. This industry is for entrepreneurs.
Forget the stereotypes.
Everyone was saying, oh, that is not for girls.
Here in Nigeria, a lot of people tend to believe that young people are irresponsible or unreliable.
This is the real story of 30 fearless young Africans aged 15 to 22.
Même si on n'est pas âgé, on est beaucoup avancé en esprit.
Being an entrepreneur, it's not just a word.
I see it as a movement where it fills the gap of not only creating a business, but creating something that's of purpose and of impact.
We communicate our identity, our value, and our culture to entrepreneurship.
From the vibrant chaos of their communities to the daunting realities of launching a business.
The first trial was horrible. It made a lot of people sick.
On a déjà eu à se séparer de 2 collaborateurs.
Their journey is paved with grit.
You need to face the challenge. You face the challenge, you'll get the solution.
Resilience and unwavering determination.
It's not always about having a flashy result, but it's about saying, despite these punches we take every day, tomorrow we show up again, we do what we need to do.
Witness the ingenuity that sparks in the face of adversity, from groundbreaking tech to sustainable solutions.
No one believed the fact that you can order something online and have it delivered to you.
طموحين لهم هدف وأحسن حاجة إن هو يعني هدف بيفيد معظم الناس.
They are rewriting the rules and reimagining what's possible for Africa.
Moi, jeune entrepreneur, a une jeune pousse d'arbre qu'il faut arroser, soutenir, encourager, qui deviendra un baobab pour sa communauté.
I always tell them, your brand is not a local brand. It's not a local champion. I want your brand to become an international brand, a household name all over the world.
But their journey is far from over. In the heart of South Africa, their resolve will be tested, their visions will be challenged.
What does your employment strategy look like there?
1 week, high stakes, $40,000 on the line. This is more than just business. It's about belief. Belief in themselves, in their communities, and in the power of a new generation to shape a brighter tomorrow. Who will rise to the occasion? Who will seize the opportunity to ignite their future?
Thank you. I hope you guys like that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we went about owning the stories and how we went about sharing them, okay? So I'm going to talk about the concept of narrative sovereignty. Okay, so the stories are very complex. We didn't want to just focus on a linear outcome. They started at point X and ended at point B, okay? So that meant that we needed to deconstruct a couple of things. What does the young entrepreneur look like? What does the young hero look like? Okay? Okay, so we realized that perfection is a barrier, and we needed to document their highlights, their lowlights, and everything in between. So I'll give you an example. This is Christiana Madu. She is from Nigeria. She owns a company called Prime Vault Solar. So one of the challenges that she faced in her journey is that she was a female in a male-dominated industry, and she got a lot of flack for that. The second one is that she had to learn how to improve on her technical competencies, right? Eventually, through support from her family, her friends, and even her university, she was able to establish her business and even went as far as installing solar panels across 2 universities in Nigeria. The second one is the low light. So we tend to be afraid of failure and what that looks like. So we realize that failure means credibility. So this is Ibnu. Oh, okay, sorry. So this is Ibnu. Ibnu is from Senegal. He began his business at the age of 16. At the time, he was too young to go and register his business. So he relied on somebody that he trusted to register the business for him. Unfortunately, things went south. The person that he trusted locked him out of his business. And when we actually went to go film, they were still in court. He was fighting for his business at the age of 17. Okay? And the whole lesson here is that failure does mean credibility. He bounced back. He was able to get his team, establish a brand new business, and get brand new clients. The third one is the age specific. So Gen Zs, man. So we had to remove the adult narrator from the story. And this meant that we had to train the entrepreneurs in how to film, in how to tell their stories, and how to do post-production. We primarily focus on DaVinci Resolve because it's accessible and easy for everyone to use. So this is how we went about empowering them. Okay, and she's a perfect case of this. This is Joyce. So Joyce moved to South Africa from DRC. When she arrived in South Africa, she couldn't speak an ounce of English at all. But she was into fashion. And when she was in South Africa, she had a roommate who spoke English and saw the value in what Joyce was doing. So this roommate began capturing Joyce's outfits. She started with a picture, TikTok videos, and it eventually went on to become something big. She was then able to take the lessons that she had learned and establish her business in a foreign country. So, what is the goal of unfiltered storytelling? This is the goal. It's to impact a lot of young entrepreneurs. To date, we have 4 seasons of the journey. We are currently on 250K subscribers, and we cover a variety of themes. We talk about marketing, we talk about building businesses that people need. So these are tools that any young person can go watch and implement in their business. And what is great, this is relatable content. So I'll show you a snippet from the final episode of the journey.
Welcome everyone to the 2025 edition of the Nzisha Prize Gala. This afternoon, we're all gathered here to honor some of Africa's boldest and brightest, our incredible 2023 Nzisha Fellows. Hand of applause for you guys. These aren't entrepreneurs who are just running businesses. These are creating jobs. They're solving real problems and shaping the Africa that all of us want to live in. And this afternoon, we're shining a light on them. But let me tell you also, it's not just about the awards. This is fundamentally about community.
Entrepreneurship isn't the backup plan, it's the blueprint. For too long, we've treated entrepreneurship as plan B, the path you take when the real system fails you. But today has reminded us that youth-led enterprise isn't what happens when things go wrong. It's what happens when young people take control of their future.
The reward tonight is not $10,000. The reward tonight is everything. Timing, efforts, they all come together, and at the end, I promise you, The journey is everything.
From Nigeria to Madagascar, from Kinshasa to Kampala, the Nzisha 2023 Fellows remind us Africa's next great chapter is being written not by institutions alone, but by young hands, bold voices, and stories that won't wait. Because belief doesn't end at the celebration. It carries on in the work, in the wins, and in the quiet courage to keep building, one venture at a time.
All right. So I'll go back to the poll that I had at the start. Many of us are fortunate enough to be employed. A few have pursued the journey of entrepreneurship, and if I counted correctly, 3 people started their businesses under the age of 22. They are a minority, and it means that their voices should be told out loud. If we amplify the stories of these young people, then we do justice to those that they serve and to those that depend on them. So my call to action. This is our mission statement. Well, it's a snippet of it, but it's to change Africa's perception about youth entrepreneurship. And if you feel this is something that relates to you, relates to your work, or you're looking for a new story to tell, please feel free to scan the QR code, and I've put our email addresses as well. Thank you very much.
Art has been a way of me probably just healing, because I understand what it means, liking even the small things.
I am literally here to make the world a better place. And I start with myself first. It's a better life for me, then a better life for my people, and then now all that can translate to my films out there.
My real names are Shailene Maraga, but well, people know me as Chacha, so my name is Shailene with C. So most times people would have struggle when I tell someone it's Shailene with a C, like Charlene, Cha. So from Chacha to now Chacha now becoming the name. I'm the founder of Royalty Entertainment. Initially it was Royalty Entertainment Youth Group. We started it as a self-help group. We registered it at 2021.
My name is Rashid Juma, born and raised in Bamburi, Kisauni. Now that's where a hand comes in. I don't have a very good relationship with my dad, so I really wanted to change my name a few years back in 2017. I run a film production company called Scream for Real. I love it a lot. I started it in 2020, by the way. It's a film production company that also deals with distribution of films.
I noticed people use a lot of muguka. And I was like, you know what, this is where we should actually start. Because I feel like for youths, normally it's not you coming and telling them what's right. It's actually like supporting what they do, but kind of as you're joining them, you'll be like, you can also try this. I mean, this is not bad, but you also shift to this. I was starting with zero knowledge. I never even knew if there's something called NGOs or CBOs or self-help groups. I had no idea. I literally started with zero knowledge, no mentor, doing it with passion and blindly.
I always studied what my dad wanted me to study because I didn't actually study film. I went to study procurement. My dad has been a banker, so he wanted me to be a banker too. You get? So I have a degree in procurement, but then while studying procurement, I was also studying film. In my own accord, that is. Yeah, and I loved film so much. And after graduating, my dad felt like, why are you so much into film? Why are you going to shoots late nights? You don't have a camera. My dad has never embraced that side of me. Even when I was winning awards, I used to bring them home and I tell my dad, this is an international award. That was 2019. This is an international award. My dad felt like, this is nothing. I want you to tell me you are employed somewhere. You're earning something.
There are no dance spaces in Mombasa. At least not any that I know that is a dance. Yes, they are not there. I would say one is probably Little Theatre. We use the available spaces like Baraza Media, Little Theatre, at times Mama Ngina. There's a social hall at VOK. It's on North Coast, near way to Mtwapa. So those are the spaces we've used. Of course, they're not convenient, but at least they're spaces.
The money side of things is not easy because running a film production company, unless you are so good at films, I don't say I'm not that good, but it takes a bit of luck and connections so that you get cash to produce films. You get. Now that cash is what trickles down to now paying the crew. Now, I used to ask my question, where will I get the money? And I'm glad that I have a group of very young people. I spoke to someone just the other day and I told them I'm the oldest in my company. And it really felt good because I'm not even 30. You get? Yeah, so it feels good because these are people, I'm giving a chance to people that mimi mwenyewe hata hizo chances sikupewa kabisa. Na kama nilipewa hizo chances ilikuwa mtu ananifinyilia kabisa. Umeona? Umeitwa shoot, hakuna lunch, hakuna transport. Na hapo niko na shida za mzee wangu, so siwezi omba do. You get? But then right now that I have young people, I really have to look out for them. You get? So that it's a different narrative for them. I'm not saying I'm making it easy for them, but si lazima mtu apitie zile shida zenye mimi nilipitia. I am literally here to make the world a better place. Mona? And I start with myself first. It's a better life for me, then a better life for my people, and then now all that can translate to my films out there.
My mom was diagnosed with cancer recently. So again, that's another responsibility. There's like too much, but I can't be the one to now play victim and sit around and start thinking about myself because too many people are on my plate. I'm also hardworking because I don't let my circumstances or rather my issues really like put me down. Of course they put me down because I cry. I have cried in the morning. I've cried on my way here. I cry all the time, but it's like therapy. Once I'm done with that, normally it's like I've let something out.
For the first time, my dad in like 4 years alikuwa ananicall. Nikashanga, mbona mzee amenipigia? Nikashika. Mzee kanambia, mzee, nani ametuacha? So nataka ukuje home, tusaidiane venye. So nikakaa, nikaangalia timu yangu. Nikajua tu siwezi toka. Ile tu ukweli. Siwezi toka. Because if I left, ingekuwa na impact kubwa sana. To my team, to the whole initiative pia. Haiwezi anza hivyo. We are starting like cripples. Inafaa ianze You get? And yes, tumepitia hizo vitu zote, but I know how important it is. And I'm pretty sure it's a blessing. Yes, it was a gift because hata nyanyangu alikuwa ananisupport. Alikuwa anasema fanya hizo vitu. Yeye alikuwa ana dance, alikuwa anaenda paka Bomas of Kenya kudance, anadansia akina Moi. You get? So of course she'd support me. She'd say, cheki, mimi life yangu ndio imeisha, but wewe endelea. I will not stop you from doing what you want. Actually, hiyo ndio kitu yenye ilinisukuma, and I'm glad that imekuwa poa. It's a good impact to filmmakers because of the visibility, but most importantly to the audience. There's people who just come to relieve their stress, to just feel good.
Good afternoon, good evening yet again. So I would like to invite Balkis on stage. I wrote and produced the film, and the people that are here, the cast of the video or the film are here with us. Charlene and Rashid, I'd like to invite you on stage as well to tell your story. Welcome, Chacha. You're welcome. It was actually their first time to see the film, like all of you. When we shot it and edited it, I didn't show any person here other than Balkis and the editor. But I hope I honored your story. They are part of our community in Mombasa. We have Baraza Media Space there, and inside it we have Semabox Podcasting Studio. We are a production company as well. So if you're ever in Mombasa, please come through. But like how Mombasa we are, and Balkis will attest to it, we don't start serious conversations like that, okay? I think the film left you with more questions, and they are here luckily to answer them for us. And if you feel like you need to ask a specific question, please feel free to raise your hand and somebody will pass you the mic. And our style, we brought some goodies from Mombasa, by the way. So we'll have the ladies pass the goodies around, okay? Because Mombasa, we don't start conversations like that. We start it with something. Either kahawa, Balkis.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hamjambo. I think as whatever is being passed around, kindly note, if you're allergic to nuts, please inform them.
Yes.
Tuko na labania ambazo ziko na njugu, so be wary. They're brown in color, so unmistakable.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you suffer from simply sweet tooth syndrome,
Yeah.
indulge.
It's sweet and spicy. So we have achari. Achari is a mango make of Mombasa. I mean, it would be awkward to just be from Mombasa and not bring you some sweets. There is kashata. Kashata is made from coconut. And labania is made from nuts, as Balkis mentioned. So those three things, please enjoy them. Oh, there is mabuyu. Mabuyu as well is there. So share them around. We didn't know what to expect, so we just brought some goodies. Please pass them around and share. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm seeing foodies give us snaps.
Yeah.
In Mombasa, we say conversations cannot start on empty stomachs. If I give you something sweet, hopefully whatever leaves my mouth also sounds sweeter. Yeah? Okay. Elaine?
So if you just allow me to stand briefly. The night lamp does not attempt to flood the room, okay? It offers exactly enough light. So if you know the night lamp, how many of you know that lamp from olden days? Thank you. You know that, yeah? that wig, that blue one, the one you used to wipe, right? I don't know if there are any Gen Zs. I'm sure Gen Zs don't know that lamp.
We shall not take Gen Z slander. We can Google.
Yes. So the night lamp doesn't flood the room. It just offers enough light for you to see and move around. And in Mombasa, this is where modesty meets technology. For us, as you saw in the film, we have democratized access to technology. We are showing films in rooms, not cinemas, not what you consider a cinema. And that is Rashid's story. And for Charlene, she just has a passion for dance and she just uses whatever is available. Dance never stops her. And if you're here yesterday, I'm sure you saw her there. She was, yeah. So I'm gonna sit down now and pass the mic to Balkis, who will introduce.
So Charlene and I will be sharing a mic. If dance was infectious, hopefully by the end of this session, I will be half as talented as she is. So I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Balkis Yassin. Sounds hard, I promise it's not. Balkis. I am the Community and Operations Associate for Baraza Media Lab, Mombasa. Kwa hivyo, when you come to the coast, nitafute. We would love to host all of you there. I am young, quite young. I don't know if you can see. I am a proud Gen Z, and for the last 5 years, I have worked tirelessly between creativity and system change. The night lamp that she spoke about, I unfortunately or fortunately have not encountered it. Lakini najua koroboi, and my mother has told me stories of how rigorous it was to refill the fuel. And so I have made it my purpose to make sure that it becomes sustainable. So hopefully by the time we finish, it moves from a night lamp to a solar-powered bulb. Yes? Charlene?
If you're happy, clap once. If you're happy, clap once. Thank you. My name is Charlene Maraga. But as I said, you can call me Chacha. Chacha is way better. I have a backstory with it also, but I am the founder of Royalty Entertainment Talent Africa. We deal with talent management. We also host events. We also do digital creation. I am a performing artist and an MC as well. Thank you so much.
It's good sharing a mic with you. Odaze.
Odaze.
Now when I say Odaze, you say Odaze. Odaze.
Odaze.
Odaze. So Odaze means something has to happen. For example, if I asked you, or you asked me, will you have a session tomorrow? I tell you Odaze. By order. By order. Odaze.
Odaze.
Great. My name is Hunt, Rashid Hunt. I'm a documentary photographer and filmmaker from Mombasa. And I'm also a creative director at Screen for Real Productions, which is a film production company that also deals with distribution of films. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I don't know what you know of when you hear creative economy. What do you guys describe as creative economy? If somebody just says creative economy, anybody? Any takers? Nobody? Are you?
Okay, so I would say it's money that comes from people's talents. Yeah, creative talents.
So a year ago for us, we inherited a creative economy in Mombasa, where we had to build around the structures that were there and to improve the space, improve the community, and increase access. So for us, personally, I cannot tell the Mombasa story. I am a Samburu woman who was born and raised in Maralal, who is a Muslim, who lived in Somaliland, and who moved to Mombasa. So I cannot tell the Mombasa story. That's why it was very important and very key for us to bring people who can tell the stories in their own authentic voices. I can only be access, I can be the space, I can be the community, and the rest is up to them to use their voice and just we amplify, right? So our panel is centered around community as a tool and structure as the safety net. But we will hear, I don't know, we will understand and unpack all that. Yeah. What is community? Yes, and what has it been for you just building your screen for real and orders a community? Yeah, decentralizing what access to films is like. So if you would tell us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Elaine. Actually, I was really moved by the film. I really couldn't hold myself because I've done film for 10 years right now, and I've done documentaries and films for other people, but no one has ever done a documentary on me, not even myself. So that's really a huge thing, and I really thank you for that. When we come to community, for me, I began with how I felt when I was doing art. I started out as a poet, and then I started writing articles. But then I felt like this is something I need to share with other people. You get? And when I shared with other people, I got critics, I got people who advised me on better things to do, on better ways on how to approach my art. And yes, we've had ups and downs, but then I guess it's the community that has really built us. I say this because I am seated here not because of one choice, but it's a culmination of different people who put me here. You get? I met ZP today, and ZP is the first person who made me to do my first film in 2019. And I won an award, and from there is when I continued this Scream for Real, you know. So I felt like if she could give me that, and it's someone I just met, I need to give it back. You get? So we began doing the screenings and showing, and right now we're doing Movie Barazani at Baraza Media Lab every first Thursday of the month. We do it there. So it's not about what you get, it's what you give. You get? And I believe with what we gave is what brought us here, is what brought us this film. Because you saw the resilience, you saw the story in Rashid, you saw it that this is a struggling artist that is really trying to make ends meet, you know? Yeah, so I guess for me, I'm a story about a community, and also the main reason why I use Hunt is because when I started doing poetry, I wanted to do English poetry, but I'm Swahili, born and raised in Bamburi. You get, I'm not predominantly English, but then I have to overcome that. I have to tell people I am Hunt, yes. I baptize myself with that. You get. So I'm here representing all the people there, all the community, and of course we show the films to them. All those films are on issues that are pertinent to them: gender-based violence, climate change, mental health. You know, right now when we're going to AI, LGBTQ, all that, because those are things that affect how we view things as a community. And after the screenings, we have to break down the films too. So the community also feels like we need to talk about that film. Was it really relating with me? Yeah, so for me, I feel like the community is something that is very important because it's also something that Safaricom hacked with that. They go to the machinani, they tell you it's a better option, they make things better. Of course, there's other things that they do, but then we appreciate them because we see the green everywhere. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rashid. Hunter, Kisaoni gang, hapo vipi? Ako sawa? Now, Charlene, as we speak about inheritance without infrastructure, in the film, you spoke to the fact that as a dancer, you do not have any dance-specific or friendly spaces. within the coast. Yet here you are, having founded a community. How do you create space for yourself where there's no formal space for you?
Growing up, I was raised by my grandma, and I come from a very broken home where I've had to experience a lot of domestic violence. And most of the time, even in the family, I would never have a chance to even say what I'd really want for myself. Growing up, I've always lived with people's choices, especially back at home. It got to a point where I had to run from home and I started living on the streets. So being there, I think that's when now me was unleashed, because I saw how people really struggle in the streets. Most of the people who are in the streets are not people who really want to be there, but I'd say it's most of the things that are surrounded maybe back at home, or maybe the people they really trusted much. So for me, dance was a way of comfort at first when I was starting it. I was doing it as something. In fact, I would make sure no one sees me before I even dance. For me, it was maybe just a way of expressing myself. I don't have to talk, but when I move my body, you'd be able to tell she's dancing in an, maybe with full of resentment, maybe full of joy. You're able to tell when you see someone dance. And while starting royalty, I think, yeah, as I've said, it had a backstory behind it. And again, in Mombasa, we really don't have the spaces, but we use what we have, because I have come from far to literally say we don't have a dance space. If I was using that, I don't think if I would be on this stage right now. I don't think if I would have met these wonderful 31 nationalities. I never saw myself here, but it's literally just using what you have because of the passion and the backstory that drives you.
Thank you so much. As Elaine has me here doubling as moderator and panelist, to speak on, as a community lead, what that looks like. So most times when we think about infrastructure, we're thinking roads, we're thinking buildings, but we're also forgetting that ownership and stability are part of that infrastructure. Here, I have an artist who has sworn not to let the lack of infrastructure stop her. In Mombasa, in the coast rather, we have a very specific niche problem. So we have inherited resource spaces that we can use, theaters, dance halls, hubs. Unfortunately, we have not inherited the title deeds. And so where artists should be focusing on their talents, they're now forced to think about risk mitigation. Where an artist could be thriving, they have to think about, is this space going to be tomorrow? And in the resilience of the coastal artists is that, as Charlene has said, they have sworn that the world is their platform. And so as part of the system and people who are looking towards system change, if you're here in this room and you know someone who can give the coastal artists a title deed, please make sure we inherit our title deeds. Elaine?
Yesterday, I was having a conversation with Mfundo, and we were talking about the power of language. And even as Balkis mentioned on what we have inherited, we did inherit a community, a predominantly Swahili-speaking community. As you noted in the film, there were no credits. The only written item was Night Lamp, and it was by choice, because I really wanted to stress the resilience that comes from filmmakers, where we consistently have to do more. We have to translate our language. We have to put our names out there so that this story can cross borders. And even us sitting here is a testament of us just trying to tell you guys that this is our story, right? So Mfundo told me, Elaine, put the translations. To be honest, I think Balkis can mention this. We really argued about the captions. We argued about the credits at the end because I just wanted the story to live by itself. While that is okay, it is important that we put names. It is important that we put titles because it builds on ownership, right? It builds on ownership. It opens up borders because now this case study, this film, this narration can be seen, can be heard, can be read, can be accessed by everybody else. And Mfundo challenged me with what they're doing at Anzisha. He told me, Elaine, I think you need to translate it into multiple languages so that everybody can hear their story, everybody can understand their resilience, and everybody can understand and appreciate who they are, right? Yeah, so Balkis, thank you so much for pushing me to do that. To be honest, I just wanted the story to live. And I think as filmmakers, we just want that. We want to just tell the story, yeah?
Well, with that in mind, there's a company in Nairobi that is called Transperfect. They do that. They translate it in different languages. I don't know what Mfundo meant when he said languages. Maybe you answered it in Zulu. But then if we can do that also, yeah, it would.
Yeah, it is an African problem. We have a lot of languages. In Kenya, we have 46 tribes. 43, 46? Yeah. And even myself as a Samburu woman, I am a subsect of the larger Maasai community, but our language is different, okay? How our intonation is different. So I cannot speak to a Maasai person and have a conversation without hanging for a minute there. And in Mombasa, I think Balkis herself, she is a mix of so many. She's
I'm
Nubian.
proudly East African.
Yeah, she's proper East African. So I think we also have inherited the resilience by default, right? So then packaging becomes something that we have and we must embrace. If our stories can be heard and we need our stories to be heard, we must embrace. And it's in spaces like Baraza that we have the title deed. We have the title deed, Like it's private.
Me looking to confirm my supervisor is not
Yes,
seeing me.
please. Yeah, and it is in Sema Box, which is a production company that is inside the studio is inside the space where you can just walk in. It's a plug and play. You walk in, you sit, and you tell your story. And it is in funding such spaces. It is in buying accessible cameras, the small ones. It is in buying the microphones. It is in going to the machinani and creating the film. What Hunt failed to mention is half of the film that he screens. He has a monthly screening at the space. It's called Movie Barazani. And most of the films that he screens are shot on phones. They are shot everywhere and anywhere. Thank God that now the county has allowed us to, create. Nairobi did it first. Our governor decided, I think we need to do this for the creatives. So most of the films are recorded outside the norm. And it's a beautiful thing to see when we see our own stories and nothing is limiting us. Yeah? So maybe you can speak about Movie Barazani before we go to Balki essentially.
Definitely. So Movie Barazani was born out of course, our need to show, but then it's not predominantly just our films. We do films from all over Kenya and all over Africa. Actually, South Africans have really been our great partners. There's an academy in South Africa called Leaders in Motion Academy, Lima. I told them to give me films on GBV. They gave me 16 films. You get? So I can only screen one from South Africa, one from Zimbabwe, and a lot from Kenya so that we relate with that. So I guess that's what brought the need for us to tell our own stories, because it's good that you are telling that story from my own perspective. We are tired of other people coming and telling stories from their own narratives. Sometimes they change the things. Yes, there's a struggle in my film, but it doesn't show me walking barefoot, because that's not the real thing in Africa. Yeah, and I'm glad this guy came, this I Show Speed. Yeah, he came and showed that Africa is an amazing continent, And that's like films, by the way, because a film is something that is a collection of motion pictures that are geared toward a desired emotion. Either you feel happy or sad or moved or inspired. You get, yeah. So it's important. Film is very important. Make sure you are in the film sector, guys. As an accountant, as a medic, as anyone, you are very important. By the way, film is the only industry that can employ all people. I can say confidently, okay? If you're an electrician, if you're an architect, we can build sets, Yeah.
Okay. So should we start sending in applications and then you'll fit us in wherever it's possible? Rashid has a production company. He can make it happen. So we've really spoken about survival, resilience, passion, pressure. I want Charlene to tell us, as a creative, do you think that we've romanticized struggle as an authenticity test? Nowadays, and again, I don't tolerate Gen Z slander, right? And we're always reminded how we've not struggled enough, We didn't study with a koroboy, we had electricity. And I find that perhaps in many stages, whenever we look at artists, everyone loves a grass to grace story. So have we romanticized struggle so much? And when does passion become pressure for you?
So I have a joke. I don't know if you guys would relate. My friend told me, I don't like how my mother keeps telling me that I always complain about the little things, that I'm not grateful. And I was like, how so? She told me back then when she used to go to school, at times they would not even have the koroboi, the night lamps. And then it would be raining so bad, there would be thunderstorm and lightning. And this is what she said, wine lightning and 3 pages down, you see? And I used to depend on lightning. And I'm like, no, of course she's lying, right? I mean, it's not true. Anyway, so this is it. I want you to picture this. I was born and raised here in Nairobi. And then I shifted to Mombasa. Born and raised here, I shifted to Mombasa. I am a woman, a young woman. Very young, actually. Being a female producer, I'm actually the youngest female producer in Mombasa. I host events. I host a certain event called Mombasa Talanta Festival every December. This year is going to be the 3rd edition, successfully and sponsored. Thank you. Now, the struggles behind it are so real. When you come and we showcase the raw talents of the young people who come in to showcase what they're really made of, you'd be moved by the struggle behind it because they have to come for rehearsals. You have no money, you do not work. So how do you keep making these people to come and showcase their talents? It's not easy. The struggles are real. I don't feel like we've romanticized the struggles because the struggles behind it are so real. You'd come to a corporate event and the organizers would negotiate your price. They would come see you on stage just moving, but they do not understand the struggle of even having to afford a flash disk to even put that mixtape, the transport that gets you to the venue. It's a lot, especially when you're handling talent. That's a very sensitive thing because for royalty, I said we manage talents. These are people who trust you with their skills and their talents, So it's very sensitive, and it comes to a point where if a client would come in and they would request for your rate card, and you tell them, for music video, it's 50,000. Iyo yote. What do you mean 50,000? I'm coming with my equipment, but they do not understand. It's not as easy as just seeing someone standing here and dancing, because we don't just dance. Dance is art, but now you have to package it in a way that can be sustainable for these creators.
Meaning there are things like the SDGs that are there. We have the mental health awareness. So we package it in a way that at least when you come to events, someone is able to see it's just not dance. So the struggles are not being romanticized. They are so real.
So you're saying when I give my 1 minute performance here, everyone in the audience, invoice, 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 invoice. Let's pay talent, please. I don't mind 49,000. Not even, just 49. Sumaya, as we look at technology as a tool and not performance, what has been your interaction with? I mean, you're a woman in tech. You're a producer. What has that been like? You use a lot of heavy equipment. You know, our studio is in town. Sometimes you have to go record outside. What has enabled or has disabled how easy that could be for you in Mombasa?
I think for us, the struggle is real because we do have a stationary studio, obviously, because it is important to have a space where people can walk in, right? So then there is a space that is accessible. However, I have to consistently and continually get out of my comfort zone so that I can access the people. As somebody who, grew up in Samburu, a lot of things were not given to us. We had to come to Nairobi. We had to travel. We had to find resources. We had to find infrastructure. We had to find education. So I do not want that just because I went through it. I think Hunt mentioned that. I don't want that for people. So for us, it has been a deliberate initiative to build and expand our studios. We are in Mombasa, we are in Kisumu, and we are opening in Kakuma, Turkana, so that we are able to reach far and wide. We are also, we have invested in, I'll call them bit-sized production equipment, right? Where we have portable cameras, portable microphones, because we are in this business of telling stories. We started with podcasting. If you were here yesterday, you might have heard about Semabox. We started with this business of podcasting, and that centers on audio first. So we do prioritize audio. I mean, audio is the most listened to medium in Africa, if I'm not wrong. Radio is still important, guys. I know in Nairobi, it might not be important, but in my homeland, in Turkana, in Mombasa, in Kilifi, in Diani, they are very, very important. So we have broken down the studio into bit-sized so that we are able to take this to them and not, call them to us, right?
So, Sawa, I do see the stage manager, incessantly signaling me. I have received the signal. This is going to be my last round of questions, and then you're each going to do a parting shot, okay? So, I wanted to know, and this is something I struggle with. How many of us have been to the coast or have visited any coastal towns in East Africa? Yeah? How many of us live in big towns like Nairobi? How many of us acknowledge the fundamental difference in the social dynamic? How we relate to people? Do you know your neighbor? Right? I experienced this yesterday, and I want to tie it into a reflective note for the entire audience. When we think about infrastructure and funding and programming and community, I think many times these proposals are written or these monies are given and not enough meaningful inclusion is done. How many of us have gone to a drive-through? You don't have to tell me which kind of drive-through. Just a drive-through. I'll assume it's one that gives vegetables and healthy food. So yesterday I went to a drive-through, okay? And in this drive-through, when you got in, you could make your order on a screen. almost as gigantic as this, right? Very efficient, very quick. The counter had 3 members of staff. Not a single one greeted me. Not a single one asked me how I am or how my day was. But my order was ready in under 5 minutes. Anyone who's been in a coastal town is laughing. My order was done. It was efficient, but it was cold. I remember telling whoever I was with, I felt robbed of an experience. You know, when you come to Mombasa, we are not transactional in any way whatsoever. It's in the 5 extra minutes where your lesser vendor is asking you, how are you? How is your family? You know, it's when your waiter is noticing, do you need a minute? Can I come back and take your order? And so even when we talk about community and solutions, we don't factor in that time. When Elaine and I were inheriting the community, we had a blueprint, we had funding, we had budget lines for stakeholder meetings and timesheets for stakeholder meetings, but no one had factored in how many dinners or lunches we would have to go to beyond work. Because in communities where social impact and social capital is valued, the existing systems do not support that. And so when I want us to leave here today, I want us to think about, what does social capital mean for us? What does social capital mean in our communities? And how are we going to carry that forward to translate into impactful resilience? For a parting shot, I have a question for each of the lovely panelists. I want to ask Rashid, at the moment, what is one structural change that would transform your practice? Right here, right now.
Wow. What is one structural change? No.
I have someone who could cash that check.
Well, according to my structures, I definitely need someone who is more financially literate than me, because I feel like I'm really focusing on the creative side of things, on the artistic side, but then I'm not really doing so well when it comes to proposals and grants and, getting the money. Yeah, so that's one thing I've always thought of, having someone in my team who could do that so that I can solely focus on the creative side of things. Yeah.
I believe there are people with financial literacy and money management here. Tafadhali, before you leave, support this young man from the coast. You can hand it over to Elaine. My beautiful sister, we've worked with the community. We are part of the community. What is one thing you feel the community must also take responsibility for if we want to head in the direction we're going?
For me, I think community must take responsibility and realize that this is not Rashid Hunt, the guy that I know. This is Rashid Hunt, the owner of Screen for Real Productions, Odaze. Odaze.
Odaze.
So I take it upon myself to master the art of introduction, because I will not and I refuse to introduce my friend as this is my friend. This is Rashid Hunt. He is the owner and founder of Screen for Real. So for me, it is community taking responsibility and ownership.
Could you pass that down to Charlene, please? Boss lady, you've successfully hosted events without sponsoring, and they have happened. What is one thing you would love to change in how sponsors and funders view creative talent?
Gone are the days when people would see creativity or other talent as just a gift, but the entertainment industry has opportunities, and it's high time we started viewing it as a career, as jobs. My only request is, If you have your phone with you, go to Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, search for Royalty Entertainment Talent Africa. Look at us, go through the page. Give us a shot. Wherever you are would come, okay? Give us a shot. We have real talents. Imagine if you book me. I have 4 employed young artists that earn from that. Now imagine if you really believed in us and gave us a shot. It's gonna like really, really change. Yeah? Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I would like us to do a very brief exercise where I make you speak Swahili. Okay? And then you, my panel, and I get to have some amazing entertainment. Right? So repeat after me. Mvumilivu,
Vumilivu.
mvumilivu, hula mbivu. Lakini akichelewa hula mbovu. How many Swahili speakers in the house? Yeah, she said clock it. I can't don't activate the Gen Z in me. I'm being profesh. So that is a Swahili proverb that says mvumilivu hula mbivu, lakini akichelewa hula mbovu. The patient one eats the ripe fruit, but if he waits for too long, he eats a rotten fruit. That is my call to action for you. As we have spent these last 3 days interacting, speaking about resilience, calls to action, remember, mvumilivu hula mbivu, lakini akichelewa hula mbovu. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Balkis Yassin. I have been your co-moderator for this session. It has been a pleasure. See you when you see me in my reflective coat.
Thank you, guys. It's been fun. Oh, group photo.